guys? This is Gene Jensen. We're going to talk about fishing in the fall. Look at that toad. Holy cow. He swiped at it. Actually, I had him in the mouth first and it got out. Look at that fish. Holy cow. Let me get myself situated. Jeez, look at that thing. Man. Pow. Yes, sir. We're going to talk about fall fishing and kind of how I found this fish and the rest of the ones I'm going to catch back up in this creek. Man, I'm going to put him in a live well so I can get pictures of him a little bit later. Oh, 5-pounder. Sweetness. All right, so we caught a big fish back in the back of a creek. How do I go about choosing the right bait to fish the back of a creek? I'm not so much fishing, trying to figure out exactly what the bass wants. I'm trying to figure out what I can fish the best. Right now I'm throwing a square bill. I caught that bass on a square bill. But the problem with my square bill right now is every time I make a cast, that square bill hits the bottom and it pulls up leaves and pine needles and junk off the bottom, and I don't get bit. I just get hung on everything. So I don't really want to throw a square bill right here. But I still want to match the kind of bait fish that are in here. And we got shad that have pulled back in the back of this pocket. I mean, whole schools of them. Pull back in the back of the creeks in the fall. And so I'm going to pick up something that I can fish shallow, that I can fish without getting crap caught on it. And so I'm going to pick up a spinnerbait. And it's all about solving the problems, each individual little problem that comes up. How can I present a bait the best to a bass, and a bait that looks like he might be able to eat? You know, he might want to eat. And that's by, you know, by observing and seeing what's going on and seeing what's happening with your bait. Yes, I want a bait that can hit the bottom, but I don't want a bait that can pick up the bottom and carry it back to the boat with it. So try a spinnerbait, maybe a chatterbait. It's all about making that decision. But the reason I came back in here is I pulled into this creek arm, and about halfway back, it's a short creek arm, about halfway back I started seeing bait fish. And I saw more and more bait fish, and I saw them out at about 5 to 7 feet deep. And this morning they were deeper than that. They were 10 to 14 feet deep this morning. And so the shad of tartar started to pull up shallow. And in the fall, that tells me that they're moving to the backs of the creeks. So I started fishing about where I started seeing the shad, or started seeing the bait fish, and I moved back towards the backs of the creeks. And I caught that big bass on a channel swing. The creek channel comes up and swings right up against the bank. It's not very deep. It's still only about 3 or 4 feet deep, but it's deeper than the rest of the area around it. And I bumped a stump, and he struck, and I set the hook. He threw the bait once, and luckily that bait hooked onto his belly as he was trying to swim away. Lucky for me. Sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good. But even if I'd have caught a small fish, I'd still stop and fish this area really, really thoroughly. I mean, I'm not going to go too fast. I'm still going to fish a moving bait because I still think that they want to hit one. And try to bump every piece of cover that I can find. And if I can't bump any cover, I want to kind of tick the bottom. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to be reeling in an erratic action, or doing erratic retrieve, as I call it. It's all about messing around with it. And once again, I caught that one on a channel swing, and the channel comes right back across this creek arm, cuts up against this bank, and that's why I'm fishing this bank. This is the deeper water. And it's a little humid because my glasses are fogging up. And that's what I'm gonna do for the rest of the day. I'm gonna pull into a creek arm. I'm gonna look for the bait fish. When I start to see the bait fish, I'm gonna head towards areas, or I'm gonna head towards shallow water. I'm not gonna fish under the bait fish. The bait fish just lets me know that there's fish in the area, there's bass in the area. Bass really, largemouth really don't like to suspend out in the middle of a pocket and chase fish. They will, but the big ones will be lazy. They're gonna hang out under a dock or on a tree, or they'll hang closer to the bank. So I see that the bait fish are 4 to 7 feet deep. I'm gonna go start at 4 to 7 feet deep, and I'm gonna go shallow because it's the fall, and that's why I'm gonna choose fat shallow. But anyway, well, like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing and show them this wonderful sport that we love. I mean, it's so awesome to catch a 5-pounder, and you never know when that's gonna happen. And then, you know, let me help you teach them how to fish, and by showing them my videos, man, I love to teach. I absolutely love it. But anyway, well, be sure to get out on the water, get out and catch some fish, and have a great day.